come in.
There you go.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what. We had a swell time over at Duke Thompson's, and I'll tell you, you guys have seen him organize a show yesterday that was phenomenal. We just had the Farrells come over here to pay their respects to the Duke and thank him for the show. What a great club that was. And we've had so much fun this weekend. I've met so many more people, and people that I haven't seen in years and years, like this guy here. And I love this guy to death. He's like my brother, man, no lie.
Have a good day.
He's an artist, and as you can see from his cars, and they're just phenomenal, and designer, and he is an interior designer. This car right behind us has probably got one of the nicest, subtle interiors that I have seen, never seen, ever before in my life. The Duke of Earl had a beautiful interior, and I congratulated you on that, and made that public a couple of times.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we did. But the painting.
Yeah, and this time, this interior is great. Duke, can you tell us a little bit about this car?
Well,
I'm gonna let you go.
Well, it's a '57 Ford hardtop Fairlane, which are hard to find. Most of them are sedans. And I nose decked it, did the Duke of Earl treatment to it. I like the Dreamsicle in white color. Continental kit, cruisers, it has to have all that. Dual French antennas. The original 3-bar spinners from back in the 60s. Tube grill, French headlights. I got the tunnel taillights. I had it pinstriped by Junior Huff, that's Bo Huff's son. And the interior was done by Gene Standard up in Cameron, Wisconsin. I take him my designs, and he's just a remarkable man with the interior. As a matter of fact, he does all my cars. He did the Duke of Earl. But I always got a vision about a car, and then it's like a piece of art. And whenever it gets done, it gets done. And it took me 2 years to do this car, so it drives like it looks. It has a 312, 3-deuce, 3-speed stick on a column. Trunk is all done to match the interior. And the old bias ply white walls, got to have those white walls. Yeah. That's what it is.
Well, Duke, the one thing I wanted to ask you about, a lot of times people buy a custom car. Was this a custom car when you got it, or was this a stocker?
This was a stocker. It was a nice Tudor hardtop. It had another Connie kit put on it, and it had regular skirts on it, but I just took it apart and did this to it,
Those taillights are unbelievable.
Yeah, aren't they?
I followed him last night coming back from the show, and the way these lights light up that bezel area back in there is phenomenal. Yeah. And it's like when we looked at it last night, I put my finger down into the tunnel of this thing expecting to hit plate glass, but there wasn't anything.
Kept going, right?
Yeah, tell the folks what you have for taillights. Those aren't 59 Caddy taillights in there.
Well, they're out of a ambulance. They're the red emergency ambulance lights, and they look like a enlarged 59 Caddy light, but they work just swell in there, and we coned them in far enough to let them stick out about 1.5 inches, and then we ghosted a little bit of Dreamsicle paint back in there, and they make a whole different look. Yeah, it's
like a hologram. I kept telling Duke last night, I can't believe it. How far back does this go? I kept trying to reach back to touch the end of it. It just kept on going and going.
And then we always name our cars. I and my wife Barbara, and we like to name our cars. And usually we got to wait till they're done, because once they're done, we look at them and there comes the name. And one of my favorite songs was a Del Shannon song. And my wife says, that car looks a little flirty. It looks like something that you'd want to flirt with. So there came the name, the Little Town Flirt, on a Del Shannon song. So that's why we come up with the name for it.
Well, Duke, this is outstanding. It's outstanding, but we want to see that misty blue.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, that car came from a historical past, right?
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Huh?
Oh sure. It was built by a fellow up in Minnesota, Rick Schnell, back in 1979. Back in 1984, he put some of his collection up for sale. I went and looked at it, wanted to buy the car. Unfortunately, another guy out east beat me to it, bought the car. And I was so inspired about that car when I saw it, because he was quite a car builder, and kind of fell in love with it when you look at something like that, and it inspired me to build the Duke of Earl.
Right.
But for 24 years I looked for that car and finally I found it out east. So the minute I asked the guy if he'd sell it to me, I owned it the next day. So.
And you told me that it was in a museum all those years.
Yeah, he kept it locked away, hardly ever used it. And he just took it out, led east out there the last couple, 3 years and used it a little bit.
Just built, yeah. But now you're using it. You're using it, right?
It's a keeper. I want to keep it. And
yeah.
So I just refurbished it, put it back on its feet, and got it roadworthy because I want to drive it. And all my cars I buy 50-50. I buy 50 for investment and 50 for pleasure, and it's never done me wrong.
And this one is 100% pleasure because
you're
never going to sell it.
Yeah,
this is the car, folks, that got him started basically in customizing cars. Before that, it was Corvettes and drag racing.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we're looking at a whole new portion of his life. Even though we did show a Way Out Willard show this morning of us out at the drag strip, and he got pretty excited about that.
The Pharaohs were just here, and they said they had a member that's got a Pro Street for sale.
Oh, is that right?
We might look into this.
Wow. Okay.
Those Pharaoh guys are good guys, you know.
And I got a feeling that the way he punched that puppy out last night with the 3 2s on it, I imagine what he would do with something, a Pro Street.
Yeah, that's right. We had to unwind it last night.
Yeah.
And then we got us excited last night, so I had to put the 3 deuces and the 3-speed stick to a little use last night coming home. But we have fun with it. It's a nice cruiser. Like I say, I and the wife, we enjoy cars. We enjoy going places with them, and they're just a part of our life. They're like our children.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's really cool. Let's get Misty Blue out now, huh?
Okay, let's go see if she's ready to wake up, huh?
Yep.
Tell me when.
Now.
Duke! Hey, Bob. Duke, man. This is a gorgeous car. This is called Misty Blue, huh?
Hey, we stopped to see you, talk to you for a while.
Oh, come on out. Let's talk. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I brought it over to show you, Tom.
Boy. And you've had this car for how many years?
Well, I've had it for 6 months, but I waited for it for 24 years.
24 years.
I wanted to buy the car 24 years ago, and
that's when you were 18 years old, right?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just got my driver's license. But it was it looked like this back then. I refurbished it, but it looked like this back then. I wanted to keep it authentic, you know. But when I first saw it, it was just like a heartthrob, and you kind of fall in love with it.
Yeah, I did
too.
And
it stayed with me for all those years. It's what possessed me to really encouraged me to build the Duke of Earl car.
So when was this car built, and who was the...
1979, up in Minnesota, by a fellow by the name of Rick Schnell built it.
Rick Schnell.
And then in 1980-81, I think he won some big contest with it, put it in a magazine, been in the magazine for years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sold off part of his collection, and I went up to look at it, to buy it, and lo and behold, some guy out east beat me to it. And
oh, man.
Took it out there, and he kind of hid it away for a while in a little car museum and stuff, and I looked for it for 2 or 3 years. I couldn't find it. Probably a couple of years ago, he took it out, and he went and led east out, full custom with it out in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I saw it in the paperwork, and so I got a hold of the guy, and I finally talked him out of it.
Good, good. And now you're driving it?
Oh, I love my cars. 50-50, like I say, you know, 50 for investment, 50 for pleasure, but like you said, I probably 100% pleasure with this.
Yeah, this car needs to be driven. Can you imagine yourself being in a museum for 25 years, and then all of a sudden a guy comes like this and rescues you out and gets you out on the road again? I think I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah,
it's like taking a prisoner out of jail or something, you know.
Well, we're a good team.
Hey,
you know?
I want to ask you about this top. This is called a Carson top. Can you tell the folks what a Carson top is?
Well, that was built back in California years ago. A little shop out there. When they chop a top, they would either do it out of wood or do it out of metal, and then you put a vinyl covering over it and make it look like a convertible. It was an easy way to make your car look. If you had a 2-door hardtop car, it would be a good way to make it look like a convertible. So it kind of caught on, and they made them 2 different ways. You could either take them off as one unit, or you'd leave them on. And most of the guys that wanted to finish off their interior inside would have it fixed on there so they could do the interior and headliner on them. So it became very popular out there in California.
So this Carson Thompson Duke is a fixed top.
It's a fixed top, and this top was put on in 1980. It's the original top to it yet.
Unbelievable.
I repainted the car and had it restriped by Junior Huff, Bo Huff's son out in Utah.
Right?
But we try to keep it as close as we possibly could keep it.
Okay, how about showing us a little bit of the interior? Watch where the button is here on the door.
Yeah, they're right in here's a little button. Just push that.
Okay, now tell us a little bit about the interior, Duke.
Well, it's the old crushed velour. It was put in it back in the 80s. I recarpeted it. I redid the center console on it and two-toned the steering wheel. I put the real spotlights on it. It had dummy spots on it. Then I put a rear mirror in it and some sun visors in it and made it so I can use it more and be a little more safety minded. But a lot of the girls that see it now lately, I've taken it out to a couple shows and they all look at me and I said, what do you think about that? And they said, boy, would I like to make love in that back seat.
Woo!
So that's the comment I get from the girls.
Look
so.
out, look
Yeah,
out.
look out, huh?
I love the console too. What do you have? I mean, since there aren't any instrumentation on the dashboard, I see a great big circle down there. It looks like a speedometer. What on
It's
earth?
a speedometer out of a 50 Ford.
A 50 Ford. I used to have one.
And around the speedometer is all the other gauges, you know, your gas, fuel,
Sure,
and your
sure.
temperature and alternator.
Everything's there.
And
That's
then,
great.
and then what was really nice about it is, way back when it was first built, there was a 57 Ford radio in it, and the fellow I got it from, when he got it out, put like a newer cassette type deal, bigger and larger, made a bigger hole there. So I kind of wanted to get it back the way it was, and once I got it out, I got thinking, you know, I'm going to hide my radio in here. So I embroidered Misty Blue right in up on the top, put a new panel in there. And then I wanted to put a couple roses on the console. So I asked my embroidery lady if they made such a thing as a blue rose, and she looked it up and she said, well, Duke, are you going to keep this car or get rid of it? I said, I'm going to keep this car because I waited 24 years to get it. And she said, well, you know what the definition of a blue rose is? I said, no, I don't. She says, it's unattainable.
Unattainable.
Unattainable. So the Mercury is unattainable.
Wow.
So I said, give me 2 roses, one for me and one for my wife. So
Great. Listen to this, folks. Listen to this car. And this is unbelievable. And it's unattainable.
yeah.
Isn't that solid?
Yeah.
That is so neat. You know, Duke, one of the other things I wanted to ask you about, being an old customizer like you are,
Sure.
let's check out this front end and tell the folks at home about your headlight treatment and the grill bar, and especially what looks to be a bumper. It's not a rolled pan,
Oh, yeah.
and it's really cool. So why don't you come over here and...
Well, basically this is all work that was done by Rick Schnell back in the days. I put the Lucas headlights in it, but it's called the Flying Wedge Grill. And Gene Winfield reproduces these today. But these bumpers were done back in 1979-80. And actually they're exhaust tubing bent, welded together to mold and make it look like roll pans. And the back does match the front.
Yes,
and
yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen another car with this treatment done.
And especially this, because if you look at it, it goes in, and it's not straight up and down, because that would be an eyesore, I think, but it goes in like it's tucked under, just like a rolled pan would be, but
well,
it's ribbed, you know?
It's a true touch of a true designer.
Yeah, exactly.
They take that extra time to make it look nice as you walk around it.
Now, would you call these a tunneled French job or just a standard?
Just a standard French headlight, and it's got rounded corners on the on the hood.
You notice right in here, it's
Yeah,
rounded
it's
right
rounded.
here. Yeah. Now, what are you running for a mill in here?
Well, it's got a full flathead aluminum head engine that Rick Schnell built. He's a flathead builder.
Is he really?
It's the original motor to the car. It's got a high rise on it right now with a Carter 4-barrel on it, high rise Fenton. And over the winter, I'm gonna do a little treatment.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Well, I bought a 3-deuce Edelbrock intake, and from Southern Cal they make these converters that takes the 2-barrel, makes it into 2 2-barrels. So I bought 3 of them. We're gonna put 6 Ollie 94s on there.
And that's what you're looking at right now, folks.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what you're looking at right now.
So we're just going to sweeten it up a little bit and make it a little more unique. And like I say, it's a keeper, so it's part of the family now, and we take it out and use it, and we're just going to have a great time with it.
Yeah.
I got the trunk all done too. I redid the trunk to match the interior.
Let's take a look at the trunk.
Sure.
Eh?
Let me open it up for you.
You can shut it down there. It's
cool.
Cool, man. It's cool. Okay, let's show us the interior here. Oh my goodness.
I better set up my little picture here too. I usually put this up for people.
Uh-huh. Misty Blue. It's a song.
Yes, it is. It's a song. Dorothy Moore. Beautiful song.
So the crust velvet, and as I remember you telling me at one time that you actually split up this crushed velvet for the side pieces.
Yes, it was. Well, there was nothing done under the trunk lid, and the back panel was on, and the left panel was a full padded panel, so we cut it in half, and I took the spare tire out of it. I took the covering that was on the spare tire and did the treatment up underneath the deck lid.
Oh.
Then we added the white panel there, and I put our wife's favorite saying on there: "We will never hang up our rock and roll shoes."
Wow, that's neat. That's neat.
I met her when she was 14, I was 15, and that's 1962. The song Barb ran, and the Duke of Earl came out, and all of our friends dubbed us as a nostalgia couple, and we're still doing it today.
Sure are, brother. You sure are. Wow. And these taillights you have back here, they look like the stock Mercury, but the bezels are molded in.
Yeah, it's all Frenched in and molded, yeah.
Yep, yeah, it looks really neat.
They're the stock 50s. And all pinstriped by Junior Huff. Did a nice job putting it right back to very similar to what was on it.
Now, folks, I was telling you that this definitely has the traditional lines of a Mercury that was built probably by Sam Barris. All the guys back in the late 50s, middle 50s, late 50s. And this car was built in 1979, and we got to give credit to Schnell because he carried a tradition of a 50s Mercury all the way to the max, with the exception, of course, of maybe the bumpers down here. I mean, Joe Balin did something with, you might have got the eye from the Joe Balin Mercury, but molding it all together, welding them all together and molding it, that is unbelievable. And then when you look at that interior with no instrumentation inside, I can remember first time I saw something like that was probably around 1964 in some car magazines, and it just blew my mind. Where are the instruments? You know, and here they are, we're in the console. So he picked up on that 60s theme too. So
well, you know, really, yourself, you're a true artist, Tom, and I'm sure you got a collection of old hot rod books.
Oh
too.
yeah, sure do.
So as we grew up and as our artistic abilities developed in us, we saw these ideas, and that's what made us come into the professionalism we have, because we did take other ideas from other people, but we did things. And I'm sure Rick probably did the same thing. He was a car guy.
Sure.
He saw these different things that applicated on different cars. But it takes a true artist to put it all together so it works.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what happened with this car. It works.
Yeah.
And, that's why you do such nice pieces. And I mean, I could take the thing apart and completely redo it, but why?
Why? Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And you've added your touches to make it a Duke of Earl car.
I just refurbished it. They
say.
Yeah. Brought it back on its feet. And we love it. It's part of the family.
So, folks, I hope you enjoyed this time that we've had together with old Duke Thompson here and Barbara Ann.
Yeah.
We had a great time over at Shenandoah. That we stayed here for 2 nights, and it was the most restful, peaceful time that I've had in a long, long time. And if you ever guys get up to the Eau Claire area, you be sure to check out car shows around here, because the Duke of Earl here will be there. And tell them a little bit about your Burger King show, so when you come up on a Thursday, you might stop over.
Yeah, every Thursday night. We this year we did 24 shows for Burger King. They own 13 of them in the area. We go every Thursday night from 6 to 9. We put on a rock and roll show. We call it the Show Car Road Show. Duke of Earl and Friends. It's Barbara Ann, my daughter Sheila, my son-in-law Rock and Ron. And we play old nostalgic tunes, the doo-wops, the car songs. We give away prizes, and we just have a great time. Burger King offers a food special, and we debut 1 car out of the whole pick every night. And we just have a great time. People come and I say get lost in the 50s like the old days, and they come for 3 hours and they thank us when they leave.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, it just
we're about ready to leave, and I'm thanking you, man.
Well, it's kind of a combination. Like when I hooked up with Burger King, they said, "Well, Duke, you retired at that age of life. You know cars, you understand people, and I love music, and I love designing, putting things together, and helping people, and seeing people have fun. So that's why it works.
Yeah,
so it all works. So.
Yeah,
we like to see people.
You put a smile on people's faces. That's for sure. And that's what all counts. Eh?
You bet, it was. And I met you up in St. Ignace, Tom.
And we both put smiles on our faces.
Yes, we did. When I saw your artwork, I said, I want this guy to paint the Duke of Earl, and you did.
And I was honored.
And it all started from there.
Yeah, we've been buddies ever since that.
Betcha.
Yeah, we'll have to go inside and take a look at the date on the painting so we know when that all started.
Yeah. We'll have to, yeah.
At least it'll be a year later after that.
Yep, yep.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Duke,
for
having us out.
Nice to have you and Dorie here.
Me and Dorie just loved it, especially Dorie. This is her end of her vacation, and she's got to go back to teaching.
Back to the Keys,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, thanks again, bro.
You bet. Anytime.
Okay, bye-bye.